Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
And we're back. We're late, but we're back. We had some difficulty in recording this podcast, mainly because I have been tired and unavailable. And my name is Jerry.
I'm Gabi.
The Roger Moore to my Sean Connery. On this podcast, please like us on whatever social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is that we have. We have a guild on BGG that we're not that active in.
We're not really active in anything.
Not even exercise. Man, my blood pressure's gone high. Did I say I'm on blood pressure pills now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mainly because I'm pre-diabetic, which is not really a thing, but they're just saying I'm heading down these slippery...
The blood pressure is related to pre-diabetes?
Well, no, they're two separate things, but no.
Or just your rage?
It's just my rage. I'm trying to be super chill, but that's not working out for me.
Failing miserably.
And my sugar's high. I'm too sweet.
You know what helps blood pressure?
What?
Alcohol. Don't quote me on that.
Gabi is not a physician. Gabi is an overweight truck driver.
Believe me.
Oh.
I know what to do. I just don't do it.
Much like the rest of us. I just got back from BGG Spring.
Let's not say just back.
Just got a month ago. I just got back from BGG Spring.
When was it?
A month ago, almost to the day.
Oh.
That's how long I've been missing you.
Must have been nice.
I've been missing you. So on this episode, we're going to talk about the 5 games in chronological order that I liked. This is
going to be an all Jerry podcast.
Yes.
Because he went to BGG. He played the games while I was...
celebrating your 20 years of bliss.
What was I doing? No, that's in November.
Oh, yes, right. What were you doing?
Oh, yeah, we had other stuff going on that
You
weekend.
had a gathering.
Yeah.
You had a gathering. Couldn't get out of his AA meeting.
Yeah. But my blood pressure's good.
We played like a bunch of games. And there were 5. 5 that now, these are 5 games that I have purchased, are going to purchase, or have on the way to my residence as we speak.
Okay.
Or I'm trying to trade for.
You going to do the 5 you like first or the 5 you don't like?
No, we're doing this. This is going to take a while to get the 5 I liked because I want to talk about them in great detail. And they are in chronological order, meaning that number 5 and number 4 and number 3, I like number 1 the best.
Wait, chronological meaning in the order that you played them?
No, chronological in how I feel about them.
I don't know. That's how chronological works.
I'm redefining it. It's in chronological order of how I like them.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure. Chronology? What is that?
Chronology?
Something to do with money?
I thought that
Not
was
money.
like...
Numbers?
No.
Is chronology a word?
Chronology?
Yes.
It's the study of chronic fatigue.
Go.
Okay. Number 5.
Here we go.
Number 5.
I'm so excited.
Are you excited?
What's this going to
Because
be?
I haven't talked to you about this.
Yeah, we did, but
We did?
I'll pretend like we didn't. What could it possibly be?
Number 5.
Of BGG Spring. Oh, wait. Hold on.
Well, okay.
So you went to BGG Spring.
Yeah. I was there. It's fun.
We usually go to BGG.
Fall.
Whatever. Is that? I think it's just called...
It's just BGG. There's no preference.
BGG. The Board Game Geek Convention in Dallas, Texas.
At the airport.
At the airport. That is no longer going to be at the airport. Is this the last year at the airport?
They told me, then this is inside.
Oh.
Talked to one of the guys that was the geek team. He said that the spring is still going to be held at the airport, but the BGG, the big one, is going to be held elsewhere. Coming next year. Anyways, what were you saying? That was it? 2000.
Oh, I was going to say. So you went to the spring. We usually go to the fall, which is considered the bigger one.
Yeah.
That's the main one.
Yeah.
Which one do you like better?
I like the spring. It was
better than the other one?
Yes, a lot better.
They don't have as many vendors, right?
There's like very few vendors, but there's very few people there in comparison. You can get what you want from the library, and it just doesn't feel overwhelming. I enjoyed this probably the most of any convention I've been to.
Really?
It was odd. It was very laid back.
You think it had something to do with me not being there?
No, I think you would have been laid back too. It was just that I was chilled out.
Oh.
I was not trying to play a bunch of games just for the sake of playing them. I just played what I wanted to, and it was just very leisurely. But
is that where we're going to be going to now? BG Spring?
I will
skip fall.
Just need to go to both.
I can't do both. Now this BGG I can't go to in November because that will be my anniversary.
Yeah, 20 years.
20 years.
Anyways,
I've been married 20 years. How long have you been married?
12.
Really? Mm-hmm. Call me when you get to 20.
All right. Does it get any better?
Really accomplish something.
Whatever. Speaking of which.
Of marriage?
No. Of board games.
Oh.
Number 5. Now, these are all the games I played at BGG. It boiled down to 5 games that I truly liked and that I purchased. There's another class of games that I need to play again before I pass judgment on. And then there was several games that I did not like that are probably sacred cows. But anyways, number 5, a Reiner Knizia bidding game, High Society. Now, my favorite bidding game is also a Reiner Knizia, Modern Art. I think that's probably your favorite too.
It is.
Modern Art. Gabi, you don't really like bidding that much.
No, you say this every time. That's Enrique.
It's Enrique. I get y'all confused.
Oh, how dare you? I like bidding.
All right. Well, all right. So, High Society.
I don't like negotiation.
Yeah, that's right.
Enrique doesn't like bidding because he doesn't understand the value of money.
High Society is very lightly themed that you are a rich individual, top 1%, and you are given a deck of cards which represent your money. And they're weird denominations, like $1,000, $2,000, and it jumps up to $4, $6, $8, $10, up to $25,000. And so cards are flipped out that are basically just victory points from, I believe, 1 to 10 victory points. And you are using your money to bid on these cards, and it's themed that these cards are like events or something that you're buying that's highfalutin.
Oh,
so
tickets.
So you bid, and at the end of the game, whoever has the most victory points wins. That sounds so simple, but just like with a Reiner Knizia design, he changes it up a bit.
Aha.
When you lay down a card as your bid, you can't pick it up and make change, which is kind of odd. Because later in the game, you end up only having weird denominations like $1,000, $2,000, and then your next denomination might be like $13,000, $14,000. So you can bid it either a little or a lot. So it kind of messes you up. Also, there are cards that you don't want that come out. Cards that take away victory points or half your score at the end of the game.
Cards that rich people don't want.
Don't want. Faux pas, which I'm going to come back to that in a moment. But you bid to not get that card. And so you're putting out money to keep from getting it. And so after that has happened, whoever bid the least or whoever passed ends up having to take the card and everybody else's money goes into the pot. At the end of the game, whoever has the least amount of money cannot win. They're out of the game, which is very interesting because a lot of times the person has the least amount of money generally has the most victory points. So it's like you're shooting to be second place. We caused a ruckus at BGG because we got very loud playing this game because a gentleman walked by, saw that we were playing it, decided he wanted to sit in. His name was Paul. We played like 5 or 6 games of High Society, and every game Paul got the faux Paul card, which lost his...
Faux Paul?
Yes, I made that joke. I said, and of course, you got to remember, this is like 11 o'clock at night. And I said, it's more like the faux Paul card, and which caused us to erupt with laughter.
You.
No,
and Bubba and Enrique?
Me and Bubba, we thought we were tearing it up.
Did Paul laugh?
Paul didn't show a lot of emotion. Anyways, we laughed.
I'm sure he's never heard that joke before.
We've laughed heartedly, and the people sitting at the table next to us got very rude, got very irritated because they were trying to learn Gloomhaven. Oh. And they said, well, we're just going to go somewhere else. And because I guess we were supposed to be quiet.
We'll go somewhere less fun.
Less fun. And so when they were bagging up Gloomhaven, I turned around and it's like, oh, they're playing Gloomhaven and they're sad.
Gloomy Haven.
And I laughed again. This almost caused some issues.
Did you almost get punched in the face?
Maybe. But
have you been punched in the face before?
Twice.
Is that all?
That's all.
That's hard to believe.
Bubba was with me. So it's like, I think.
Your muscle.
Yeah, my muscle was there. Like they saw Bubba, and Bubba was sitting there sipping his little tea. It's like, he's very intimidating. And so it's like, they just kind of looked and realized that Bubba was not, they threw down with me. They was going to have to take on Bubba. And Enrique would have helped. And they didn't know about Paul. Long story short, wow, this is like my favorite light bidding game now. Like it is almost on, and I brought it with me so we can play it.
Oh, okay. I was about
it's
to
like
ask
3
you.
to 5, 3 to 6 players. It's right up there with Modern Art. And so I would say that if you're looking for a lighter game of bidding, High Society. A more heavier bidding game that has some twisted rules, Modern Art, another Reiner Knizia game. But this is my number 5, High Society. Loved
Number
it.
5, games played, BGG Spring.
Yes.
High Society.
Number 4.
By Dr. Knizia.
Yeah, Dr. Knizia. What's he a doctor of? He's not a medical doctor.
Oh, really?
No, he's like a math doctor.
Dr. Phil. Maybe he's like Dr. Phil.
No, Dr. Phil is not an actual practicing
I think
doctor.
he does have he's like super smart in math.
Yeah, he's a math
doctor.
How do you become? I don't know. How do you become a math doctor? How do you get so good at something? How do you get so good at something that they just go, "You're a doctor now"? I want to become the board game doctor.
You're not that good.
Patent pending.
You're not that good.
Hashtag.
I mean, I guess if you study it, what do they take? 10,000 hours?
That's what they say to get good at something.
Yeah. Well, put 10,000 hours on some board games, you might be a doctor.
I'm there.
Earn your doctorate in gaming.
My number 4 is another light game that shocked me. It was at BGG Fall.
Tesla versus Edison.
No.
Get it? Shocked you.
This game was at BGG Fall. I saw it, didn't like it, didn't play it, of course, because I just didn't look appealing.
You're very judgmental.
I'm very judgmental. I decided to take it to the room and play it. I forgot about it. I left it in the room. We went back to the room late at night, fell asleep, woke up the next morning, and decided, nobody's up. I'll learn the rules and I'll play it. We ended up staying in the room all morning and playing Bunny Kingdoms by Yellow. It's a Richard Garfield design, and it's drafting. And I despise drafting. I am not a fan of Seven Wonders. I think Seven Wonders is a brilliantly designed game, but drafting is something that I just don't particularly enjoy.
Me neither.
In Bunny Kingdoms, you get a hand of like 10 or 12 cards, depending on the player count. You look at a card, look at your hand, you pick 2 of them. Pass the cards to the next person. You go round and round until you've gotten all the cards, and then you flip them over. On the board, there's a grid between like A through G and 1 through 9, and those are your grids that you use to place your bunnies out there. And those little squares are the properties that you now own. And you're trying to continuously connect your bunnies and have a kingdom out there. And that's how you do the scoring. And the scoring is very interesting. It's very simple math. The cards will let you place castles, and the castles have 1, 2, or 3 watchtowers. And then some of the areas on the board have resources like carrots and wood and so forth. And so in scoring, you just look at how many watchtowers on the castles you have as opposed to how many resources you have. So if you have 3 watchtowers and 3 different resources, it's 3 times 3, that's worth 9. That's the type of math that you're going to be doing in Bunny Kingdom. So you don't need a doctorate like Mr. Knizia. That was a stupid joke. This tequila is even killing my jokes.
No, you just aren't funny.
Back to Bunny Kingdom.
What kills jokes? Not being funny.
I hate drafting. We walked out of the room after playing Bunny Kingdoms multiple times. Went down the room. Went down to the vendors. Bought it. Brought it home. And you've played it.
Point the mic more towards your face.
You have played it.
Just twist it.
Oh, twist it.
There you go.
Twisted sister.
There you go. Just don't breathe heavily. Don't mouth breathe into it.
I haven't breathed through my mouth since I was 4 years old.
Oh, really? I do all the time.
I know.
Why is mouth breathing like a negative connotation? Sometimes you need more oxygen. What does that signify?
It signifies that you're not...
Maybe I have a deviated septum. And I have to breathe through my mouth.
Maybe you're just a knuckle dragging mouth breather.
What does that mean? Why is that bad?
It's like something Neanderthals used to do.
No. They don't know. They don't know how Neanderthal... I don't even believe in Neanderthals. Let's get into this.
What, science? History?
Oh,
okay. But I do believe in bunnies.
Yes. How do they breathe?
Through their nose. Have you never seen a bunny breathe through their mouth?
Wiggle his nose.
I found that the artwork on it, which I didn't at first think was very appealing, some of the cards and the board, and actually it looks like a kid's game at first, but it's actually a little bit harder. I mean, I would actually classify it as almost a family weight game. It's something that with your kids you could play, above 10 years old. I think the age range was 14 and plus. And here's the thing, what I don't like about drafting. In drafting, I can't tell what I need to do to mess you around. In Bunny Kingdom, it's very obvious when I look at the board, areas that you're occupying, what cards I can take.
Like when I have everything but this one square.
I'm going to take that.
Yeah.
And I like that strategy of it. And so it's a lighter game, but I was shocked by how much I liked it. It is probably my favorite drafting game.
Enrique went and bought Bunny Kingdoms right off the bat.
Yes. Because
much like Twilight Imperium 4.
There's nothing quite like having somebody with a disposable income.
Say, me and Jerry, we're both working men. We both have families. So Jerry has kids. I don't.
Little kids. I need a Kickstarter.
So we have our income's a little more precious to us. But we buy all the games. I'm like, well, why don't you buy some games? So we got Enrique. Enrique works for his dad. Again, lives at home. Does Enrique listen to our podcast?
He has a lot of fedoras.
He never listens.
But he's got classy fedoras.
Heavily invested. He looks, you know how like when you first meet somebody and they either have this thing or they don't? So if you're a fedora wearer, you better have it on the first time I meet you.
Yeah. Because if you just start wearing fedoras,
Don't show up halfway through. I'll be like, what is on your head?
what's happened to you?
Indiana, let it go. So, or like a mustache. Don't grow a mustache halfway into me knowing you.
What?
Don't. I hate.
I'm about to go up Magnum PI.
I don't like change. But anyway, Enrique has money. We talked him into getting Twilight Imperium 4 for us, and he got Bunny Kingdom. So those are the only 2 games he's got, right?
But they've been good. And so far, every game that we've talked Enrique into buying, they've been good.
Bunny Kingdoms, you brought it home. We played it. I played it with you, and I loved it too. I came in second place.
Yes, you did. It's very good. And so I recommend that as a lighter game. Now, the third game you also have just played, number 3. Sentient. By our good friend, and I say this loosely because we've never met him, nor have we had any conversation with him.
I added him on Instagram.
Alex Cavern.
He didn't respond.
But he's like he does some sort of important job up in New York City.
Like all his Instagram, like you would never know he's a board game designer.
No, but J. Alex Cavern made Gold West, which is one of the best Euros ever made, and now he has made Sentient, which I have declared it my Splendor. People love Splendor. Of course, if you've listened to this podcast, you know we don't like Splendor. We also don't particularly care for Century Spice Road. So I was looking for a game that was smart,
card-based,
light, card-based, a little bit heavier than your other palate cleansing games. And Gobby was just blowing up my phone. Have you played Sentient? Find Sentient. The box art I didn't particularly care for. I thought, I didn't think, it's not going to be any good. Played it, loved it. It is a game of dice manipulation. So you have your little dashboard that you roll the dice. You place the dice on your board. I think there's 4 different dice.
5.
5 different dice between 1 to 6. And it is a card drafting sort of bidding auction game. How do you describe it?
No, it's not a bidding because, you pick up the card you want.
Right.
But it's up to you how many pieces you want to put there to lay claim to the other, whatever those 5 things are.
I somehow now know less about the game. When you set the game up, you put out these investment tokens out in the front of the board, out in front of you, and you put cards in between them. And so when you want to take a card onto your turn, you just put one of your agents out there on top of the card that you want. Take that card, replace it with another, and you plug the card into your little dashboard. Now, when you plug the card into your little player board, it will affect the dice. It'll make the dice move up 1 point up or down. And if you don't want your dice to be
equal,
or stay the way they are, if you don't want your dice to move, you can use your little assistants to stop them from moving. You cover up that little symbol on the top left and top right of the card, and the card indicates what it needs to score at the end of the round. It may say it needs both the dice to be odd, both the dice to be even, or both of them be higher than 4, whatever it might be. And so you're having to manage all your little slots on your board to make sure that all your cards score on your game board. So that's like part of the game. The other part of the game is that when you're placing your agents out here, at the end of the round, whoever has, when you look at the investment tokens that are out here, you look at whoever has the most agents in that area, and they then get to choose if they take that token. And of course, you can put assistants out there to up your bid, so to speak.
So your assistant can go either on the card to negate that plus, minus, or equal. I don't know why you negate the equal, plus or minus. Or you can put it up there to add to your agent.
Which is interesting because you can bid. That's basically the small bidding aspect of it. Yeah. And at the end of the round, you score those victory points off your dashboard. But at the end of the game, the investment tokens that you've collected, those are multiplied by the however many types of those cards that you have. Like if you've collected a bunch of military cards and you got a bunch of military investments, but then that multiplies or self-multiplying.
So if you have 4 military cards and 2 military investments, you'll have 8 points.
Yeah, they're worth 4 apiece.
Added on to the immediate points you earn after every round.
So it's very point salady, but at the same time, you're trying to get around all these. Do I use my assistants? out here to get the investment token I want and sacrifice of points now. This game just fried my brain when I first saw it. This is what impressed me about the game right off the bat. As I sat down with a cup of coffee, I took the rule book out. By the time I had finished said cup of coffee, I understood the game. Enrique and Bubba woke up. I had the game set up. It's really easy to set up. And I explained the game. This is what we're going to do. This. We played one round of it. Everyone goes, oh, so that's how it works. This, and this. And it was it. It just spoke to us.
I watched one playthrough. I don't remember who it was, but somebody had it on YouTube. Played it through. Oh, no, it was I think it was Game Boy Geek. Mm-hmm. Game Geek Boy. Game with that guy.
That guy.
Watched it and was playing it, me and John.
Yeah.
Question.
Yes.
Like, I literally did not look at the rules. I just watched the video.
Played it.
I literally, if you don't have, and it said like a tie, like if between, but whether it's an agent or assistant, they all just count as a 1 point.
I believe so, yes.
So if you're tied, it goes to the person that in the round you're in is taking his move first.
I believe so.
So what if no one invested on any? Like if you had the thing over here that nobody put a piece over there. Either nobody gets it or is that a tie?
I'll have to look that up. I think nobody gets it. Or it might be a tie.
Me and John were doing it as a tie. Which in my mind now, I kind of think that's probably not right. Because he beat me. Because like he won both ties that nobody bid anything on. So he just got those investments.
I'll tell you right now, John's slick.
But, and I was thinking, I was like, normally like if you don't play on that at all, that should just count as a 0.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I'll have to look it up. But anyways, J. Alex Cavern, you are a genius. It's made by Renegade Games. It's not difficult to find, but he has sneakily made 2 games that I rarely hear of. You can't hardly find Gold West.
I think Gold West is out of print right now.
It's that way out of print. It's made by TMG, and Gold West is awesome. If you are a Euro player, you need to be playing Gold West.
It's good.
And if you want a light game that is, in my opinion, better than Splendor.
Oh, yeah.
Better than Century Spice Road.
It's math. Like, it's got this tacked-on theme of robots. It's nothing to do with anything.
Very abstract.
It's just cards,
Very
dice, plus, minus. Make your dice add up, and you get the points. The robots have nothing to do with anything. They don't come into play. It's just to have some sort of art on the cards.
Right.
So that's the only thing I don't like about it.
That's my number 3, Sentient by Renegade Games and J. Alex Cavern.
I done forgot your 5 and 4.
My 1 and 2.
No, your 5 and 4.
Oh, my 5 was High Society.
Okay.
My 4 was Wow. Bunny Kingdoms. My 3 was this game that we just talked about, Sentient.
Sentient or sentient?
I don't know. It means that they know now.
They know.
And now you know what my 3, 4, and 5 are. But you don't know what my number 1 and 2 are. And I have labored over these. Which one will be my number 1? Which one will be my number 2? These are the 2 heavier of the games that I have played. And I say heavier. One is not that heavy. One of them is a Super Euro game. And one of them is total Ameritrash. And I have rolled around in my mind which one is number 1 and which one is number 2. And I finally came to a decision.
I'll help you decide.
Number 2. My number 2.
Okay.
Without a doubt in my mind.
I may change your mind for you.
Grand Austrian Hotel.
Never played it.
Grand Austrian Hotel is by the same designer.
Really?
Yes. Grand Austrian Hotel is by the same designers of Lorenzo. And apparently they have another game coming out.
Jerry's favorite Euro of all time.
Oh, Lorenzo. The same designers. And there's apparently they're making another game that's coming out later this year. And I'm very interested in it.
Is Grand Austria Simon?
No, it is Mayfair, I believe.
Come on.
It's Mayfair.
How did they not make that come on?
Come on?
Come on.
I don't know. They missed a big marketing opportunity there.
What does that stand for?
Simon Games?
Cool Mini or not. So it's a hard C. So it should be come on, not Simon.
Yeah. A hard C. That's not a thing. You just made that up.
A hard C.
Is it?
Yes.
In English? All of a sudden, you got a doctorate in English. Oh,
yeah.
That's a hard C.
Yeah.
Whatever. You just made that up.
just like Nebuchadnezzar.
Wow.
You know who that is?
Yeah, that's the guy in Tigris and Euphrates.
Yeah, King of Babylon.
Boom.
Or Nebuchadnezzar.
I know my history. All right, Grand Austria Hotel, which is a light H.
Or like humble can be humble. Grand
Right.
Austria Hotel.
A hotel.
Who makes that up? Why can there be okay, you're going to put an H in the word, but you can either say it or not. It's up to you.
Yeah. Well, this silent. Who says this letter is silent?
My step.
He does?
Oh my gosh, my father-in-law.
He decides which letters are silent.
He says humble.
Humble.
Like we'll be reading, he'll say humble.
Well, he's on.
I'm like, I've never heard of anyone say humble.
He's on.
I mean humble.
He's very wrong. Get it wrong. Silent W. So there is a certain similarity between Grand Austria Hotel and Lorenzo. And you can tell when you play this game, there's no doubt, not just with the art, but the way that the game plays. And in Grand Austria Hotel, you are selecting guests from this main board into your cafe. And in the top part of their card, they have what they demand. And they either want cake or strudel or coffee or wine. And it's kind of weird. And once you give them what they want, like, I don't know why this guy is ordering 4 coffees. It's like, why is the King of Prussia here? And why does he want 4 coffees? We never ask. All we know is that we're going to give it to him. And once we give it to him, you get the little bonus that's at the bottom of their card. And then you try to lure them. Lure them? Is that what I'm saying? Into the motel? Into the hotel?
No.
You entice them?
Attract?
Attract them? Yeah. It's not like you're...
Lure is like the stranger with candy into the van.
That's basically,
you don't want to lure.
That's basically what we're doing. We're drugging them with coffee and we're dragging them into the motel.
Guess who?
So anyways... After you've kidnapped your guest into the hotel.
Is there a King of Prussia or did you just make that up? Is that in the game?
No. Well, the King of Prussia, you talk about 1756?
You're messing up.
With the 7-Year War?
It's called Russia. Oh, there's no P.
I'm about to slap you. Do you not know about Friedrich? 1756?
It's Frederick. Where are you from?
Right now, if we have any war gamers listening to this, they are just dying. They are absolutely dying. Oh, I don't even want to talk to you anymore.
Prussia.
Yes, that was a place back in the 7 Years' War.
Stop adding P's randomly to words. I'm going to go to the refrigerator.
I'm about to punch you, and it's going to be a hard P. So anyways.
I'm just joking. I know there's a Prussia.
There's not anymore. Grand Austrian Hotel.
I know there was a Prussia.
The Grand Prussian Hotel. It is an excellent game. That's a sequel. It's coming out. It's about 7 years. It's a great game. It's very much like Lorenzo, but the main mechanism is this. He uses dice in such an interesting way. You get a handful of dice. You roll them, and whatever number that's on them, a 2, 3, or 4, you put them in their perspective little pools. So say...
Respective.
Yes. Like number 5 is prepare the rooms. Like prepare the rooms in your motel.
You don't mean repair?
No, prepare.
Oh.
A hard P. And that when you take the 5, however many 5s are in that area, that's how strong the action is. So if there's 5 5s, you take that, you'll prepare 5 rooms.
Oh.
But I take that dice out and add it to my little thing to make that action weaker. So on your turn, if you took it, you're only going to do 4 of them, and back and forth. And so it's a dice placement, but it's not really dice placement. The strength of the dice, the Yahtzee effect of the dice is how strong the action will be. It's very odd. It's very unique, and it is
that kind of is like Lorenzo.
So Euro. It is It is pure Euro, and puro. To the extreme.
I rock the mic like a vandal.
What? What?
Vanilla Ice.
Oh.
To the extreme. I rock the mic like a vandal.
That appeals to like everyone over 30 who listens to our podcast. Probably not.
I'm going to say that most people listening to our podcast are over 30.
You don't think we're appealing?
You don't think how many... I don't think there's that many teenagers into board gaming.
You don't think the kids are listening?
No.
You don't think they're...
Think about BGG Spring. How many 18 to 25-year-olds did you say?
There was not many.
Okay, there you go.
There were not many kids. But anyways, Grand Austrian Hotel was one of the finest Euro games I've ever played. The only reason that Grand Austrian Hotel is my number 2 is that I'm not sure that I like it more than Lorenzo. I'm going to have to.
That's what I was just going to ask you.
I'm going to have to stack them up side by side and play them and go, I like this or I like that. I will say this about
You think they're that similar where you could just choose one over the other?
No. I think that they're different enough that they give you a different enough experience that they're worth owning both. But I think that Grand Austrian Hotel, I will say this, I think the replayability is more. Because there's a lot more cards, there's a lot more variabilities than there is in Lorenzo.
Well, that's what the expansion's for.
My number 1.
I think you tell me, but I forget.
878 Vikings.
Oh, yeah. Did you bring that?
I did.
Okay.
We're going to play it right after this.
Okay.
Bubba's on his way.
Okay.
Are you going to be the Vikings or are you going to be the British? I was the Vikings.
I'll be the Vikings.
Okay.
I rarely choose the one versus all position.
Me and Bubba will be the British then.
I will die, but whatever.
Well, the Vikings are OP. This game is so simple. When you read the instructions on it, I was just amazed by just how straightforward it is. It's an Academy Games, and basically what it is, it's a team game. It's best to play it as a team with three or four people, because there's 4 factions in the games. There's the 2 British factions, the 2 different factions of the Vikings, each person controlling one of the factions. Interestingly enough, you have cards that dictate what you can do. You draw up 3 cards, you pick one. And the movement cards basically indicate how many armies can move and how many spaces can they move. Or there are these other cards that are like special actions. The combat is straightforward. It's just dice rolling. You add up however many units you have. You roll the dice. The dice say that you either get a hit or that you flee, or you have an option of fleeing, like a command option to flee into a territory that you already own. It is so easy to learn, but man, it is truly one of those Ameritrash games that the simplicity and the ease of the game.
Is it Ameritrash?
It is Ameritrash. It's dice rolling. It is. All right, remember when we played 1776?
75?
75?
Yeah.
That year. That was an important year as we get...
That was the year before independence.
Yeah. You
didn't like that because it was just risk.
That's what you say about everything that has dice and guys on the board. You say, this is just risk.
Because you roll. Did my roll beat your roll? Okay, then take them off the board.
Just risk. Anytime we play,
true.
anytime we got a game that has guys on the board, anytime there's a game where the guys on the board and there's some dice, Gobby just declares, and he just makes this noise.
Jabba the Hutt.
It just turns into Jabba the Hutt all of a sudden. Yeah, that's all he does, and it irritates me. Because
no, you didn't like that in the game neither.
I didn't. I thought the game was too simple.
In this game, I literally saw several posters like, it's just like 1775. So I did not think you were going to like it.
It's not 1775.
Okay.
This is the team aspect of it, working with your teammate, plus the feeling of, when I was the Vikings, every round a new Viking leader flips out. He lands on your shores. I get to pick what area he comes out in sometimes. Like sometimes they'll say he comes from this sea, so you know what area you can land on. It's strategic where I place my Vikings at, and that is very stressful for the other team. The British are like, where is he going to put his guys at? Where is he going to hit us now? And I have to act quickly. As a Viking player, you're trying to end the game as quickly as you possibly can, because the longer the game goes on, the more reinforcements the British get. And then finally, I think it's round 5 or 6, their king comes out. He's OP. He's got his army.
Is he a Jarl?
No, he's the actual king of Britain, I believe.
Oh, the king, the English king.
Yeah, Lionheart.
Richard.
No.
Richard the Lionheart.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Robin of Locksley. That's like my only reference to King Richard the Lionheart.
That's like the best part of that. I will sit through 2 hours of Kevin Costner, Robin Hood, just to have Sean Connery show up to be like, yes.
He says something like when he shows up.
Hey, he hits on Maid Marian, doesn't he?
I don't know.
Maybe
it's like when they say, "Does anyone object?" or something.
He shows, "I object."
I do.
That's not what he says.
Oh,
but something like that. Something like that. It was. I'm chomping at the bits to play it again.
Really?
It is very light, and so let me back up with some caveats.
Back that thing up. Go ahead.
With the Grand Austrian Hotel, if you're big time Eurogamer, then
If you're a big time Eurogamer,
you have to play it. You have to play it. You have to play Grand Austrian Hotel. If you are a Ameritrash gamer and you're looking for, and you've got, it's best with 4 people or at least 3 people, and you like games that are simply easy to learn but with some deep strategy, 878 Vikings. You cannot go wrong. I like.
I'm glad you finally got your dates right on that one.
Wait, what dates are they?
You kept saying 868 or something.
Whatever. Who really knows when the Vikings came to Britain?
Nobody knows anything about the Vikings.
Nobody.
I started watching that on the History Channel. Then I started looking it up. They're like, yeah, we don't really know much about Vikings.
We think they had beards.
We're kind of guessing about most of these things.
The most disturbing thing is that in this game, there's the Berserkers. And I remember this is like the only fact I knew about Vikings, and I'm not sure it was a fact, but Berserkers is bear skin. Like they wore bear skin. They killed bears. And they literally went the term berserk. They showed up with axes and just went crazy.
Like they didn't use shields.
No, they just showed up. And so it's neat that the little miniature plastic guys, those guys attack. Like they don't retreat. Like their dice do not retreat. And so they're always the ones that every time you roll their dice, very thematically, when you put a hit on the Viking player, their first hit has to go to a berserker. So it's just implied that their first hit is always a berserker guy.
There's like a swinging. There was one Viking berserker that like held this bridge for like forever. I think he killed like 30 people by himself. He died,
but that bridge is named. That's like the Jarlson Memorial Bridge now.
I don't know where it's at.
You don't know where it's at?
I just heard about that the other day.
They just had this bridge.
Where did I hear that?
Why did he want the bridge? Was it his favorite bridge?
I don't know. I don't know where it was.
You shall not pass.
They were talking about like it was like these guys that like held off like an instrument like that. It wasn't the 300 of Sparta, but there's some other scenario where like just a few guys held off like this Persian army. I mean, eventually they get overcome and die. But it was still pretty neat to hear that kind of history.
It's very sad that when you listen to these history shows, it's always these 300 guys were so brave and they held this, and it's like, what happened? Well, they died.
They're all dead.
They're all dead now. They died. But then it's like, oh, okay.
Horrible deaths.
Horrible deaths. Arrows everywhere. But 878 Vikings. Good. It's good. It's really good.
All right. So that was your 5 through 1 of the best games you liked.
I will go out and say this. This is going to be controversial.
From BGG Spring.
These are the only 5 games I liked at BGG.
Okay. Next week. Not next week. So, like, we missed a week posting.
Yeah, because I was tired.
Because Jerry's
I have blood pressure
got
issues.
a lot of things going on in his life.
And I'm pre-diabetic.
And,
Hashtag.
But you've been that way this whole time. You just didn't know it.
I didn't know it.
But now, if you didn't go to the doctor, you wouldn't know.
Well, now I've turned my life around. I'm trying to be healthier.
Me too.
Clink, clink,
starting tomorrow. Yeah. Alcohol helps with blood pressure.
It does.
I'm telling you.
Not so much with diabetes.
No. Vodka. You can drink vodka. It's clear. That's what I always hear.
Who told you that?
That's just what I hear.
That's not a thing.
People say. That's what they say.
Gabi is not a physician. We do not in any way support endorse
vodka, you'll be fine.
No, we do not endorse any.
In Prussia, they drink lots of vodka. Right?
They're gone. They died.
Is Prussia related to Russia? Well, besides just the P missing? Take out all the urine, you got Russia. I just offended a lot of people there probably somehow or another.
No.
Nobody listens.
Nobody listens to you anymore.
That's right. All right, so in 2 weeks, because we try to put out a podcast every 2 weeks.
On Thursday.
On Thursday. Speaking of 878 Vikings.
That's right.
Thursday. So in 2 weeks, we'll talk about
my
the
top
5 games.
It's not going to be in 5 games. It's going to be however many
all
games.
the games Jerry despised.
There's going to be the ones I don't like, the ones that I need to play again, and the ones that made me go, meh. Like,
okay.
I don't know.
So until then, I'm Gabi.
I'm Jerry.
We'll see you later.
Love you.